the federal government has been hijacked by robber barons who are social engineers and who are beta testing the destruction of society here in the United States. And, of course, it's the so-called left that wants to make women fight in combat. They want to destroy the sacredness of femininity. They want to use women just like they've used men as slaves. Men historically and genetically, but this is also this way in much of the mammal kingdom, are the ones that go out and do the main fighting. Today, that is all being inverted because they are getting rid of humans. They're telling us the age of humans are over, so you have to pull men out of the positions of leadership in traditional male roles because you're going to put robots in those positions. Joining us to talk about this is combat veteran, Purple Heart recipient, Joe Biggs, to give us his view on this. You've heard my analysis of it, Joe, joining us from the Situation Room. What is your view on this?
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, when you inject women into combat, you're now messing with the male psyche. You're now messing with this men's primitive want to protect a woman. So when you put those women out there and they're being shot at, men aren't going to be concerned with their objectives. They're not going to be focusing in on the enemy. Instead, they're going to be worried about whether or not this female soldier is doing okay, because that's their instinctive nature to take care of them and make sure that they're all right. So it's a huge issue to bring women into this kind of role. And now they've already got women who have been passed through Ranger School. And the officer who was over the Ranger School said that these women would get through regardless. So you know that they ignored standard operating procedure. They fudged a lot of the different standards, and they allowed these women to go through to be PC. And now you have a House panel that's voted to make women register for the draft. Women will have to register for the Selective Service and would be eligible to be drafted in the military under provision approved by a House panel yesterday. Now, the proposal passed the House Armed Services Committee without support from its sponsor, Iraq War veteran Representative Duncan Hunter, a Republican from California. Now, he introduced this as a way to force congressional conversation about the role of women in the military, and he didn't actually think that it would get any support. And the people that actually backed him to bring this forward as a way to open up conversation and maybe sway some of these people from bringing women into combat turned on him and actually voted for it. So now women from the ages of 18 to 26 at some point will end up having to sign up for the draft. And the vote came the same day after Army officials announced that Captain Kristen Greist, one of the first women to earn a Ranger tab, will be becoming the Army's first female infantry officer. So now you've got this lady who's going to be in charge of special operations soldiers and high combat.
And let's just face it, I mean, they're not going to respect her.
No.
The guys they usually put in charge have been in like 7, 8 tours, are total badasses, super smart, and still, if they screw up, people lose confidence in them. Historically, also, women get more infections. Women tend to get hysterical when other people are being killed. Women tend to have more atrocities committed by them. Once they get in an emotional state, they have 3 times the connections between left and right hemispheres of their brain. There's a reason no culture puts women in frontline combat, because it is a disaster.
Exactly.
And it's designed as sabotage against the U.S. military, Joe.
I mean, think about what's happened under the Obama administration thus far. You've got soldiers marching around in red high heels. You've now got women being brought in. You know, we look like a joke in front of other countries.
They're turning it into a huge social justice warrior re-education camp.
You've got Navy sailors on their, on the ground on a boat sitting there crying. I mean, that is ridiculous. We look like a joke, and this is all part of his plan to destabilize us and make us look weak around the world.
You're absolutely right. You're going to be covering this more on the Nightly News tonight and filing special reports. Other key points, Joe.
I mean, I just don't understand how this could go by. I mean, people need to wake up and see what's going on. This is not going to help. At some point in time, we cannot let political correctness destroy our country.
But it's, as you said, though, is there any doubt it's by design? When you talk to your former soldiers, current soldiers, what is their view on this program?
Well, they're scared because when they go to these EO equal opportunity meetings that they have, they tell people how that they try to help them introduce how to ignore the fact that it's a woman there, to try to continue on with your mission, to walk a mile in their shoes, to do all this and that. And they're completely trying to turn our military into these same social justice warriors that we see in Portland and Denver and Manhattan and all over all these different rallies. It's sickening.
Joe, it's amazing that they execute homosexuals in communist countries because they claim it's a Western destabilization program. Well, I'm not saying gays themselves are evil or a destabilization program, but it's true that when a government pushes all this, women in combat, can't say father and mother, I mean, this is how you kill a species. This is how you bring a society down. Joe Biggs, thanks for that information. Brain Force is here. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been on this the last few months. You probably noticed I've been more crazed, more focused, less brain fog, more energy, more special reports, and it's because of Brain Force.
One of the worst things with most energy products is it's not sustainable, right? You're gonna crash and gonna feel really bad afterwards. This has a bunch of different antioxidants and compounds and polyphenols.
Everybody's on these drugs to knock their brain out because the brain's so fried.
We kept changing this formula over and over and over again until it became sort of a grand puzzle. For example, the L-theanine inside of it, that is activated by the different compounds in the yerba mate that we put inside of it as well. This just increases the compounds you already have.
This is what you're actually designed to run on.
Exactly.
It's kind of like a car will run on one form of junkie gas, but it runs really good on what it's designed for. You will find Brain Force, Survival Shield X2, and other game-changing products at InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.